Hello, I'm Dr. Amber Love Johnson, and this is the EduCurious Podcast, where we highlight exceptional educators and dive deep into complex issues. Today's guest is Stephanie Bond Lutton, Lake Wales Parks and Recreation Director. So, Stephanie, good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
It's so nice to have you. I've known you for years and years, and I'd like to hear a little bit first about you growing up in the Lake Wales community.
Sure. So my parents moved here in 2001. So the summer between my fifth and sixth grade year, we actually went to Bok Tower one day. We were living in Tampa and my parents fell in love with it and moved us here a couple months later. So we've been here ever since. Went to McLaughlin Middle School and Lake Wales High School and then to Polk State. During that high school college phase, my dad was a city commissioner, so that was fun. Lived here, worked for the YMCA for many years, and then moved to Houston, where I also worked for the YMCA, and then came back to Lake Wales in 2017. I worked for the Y for a year, and then started working with the city of Lake Wales.
What are some of the experiences that you bring with you from your time spent away from Lake Wales?
While I was in Houston, I was able to learn a whole lot more than just Lake Wales, if you will. The programs that they provided over there, especially with the YMCA of Greater Houston and the partnerships with the Children's Museum over there for STEM was great. I got to be part of their curriculum team, and so it was nice to learn and broaden my horizons. Some of the programming I brought back with some of our recreation things was exciting. So one of our Flick and Float, that was a program they did over there.
I worked when I graduated from high school at the YMCA of the Adirondacks on Lake George, and I love the Y. I was a lifeguard for years prior to that. What are some of the key learning initiatives, if you will, that the YMCA has that you infuse in your current role?
We have the GAP program, so the summer learning loss. We want to make sure that that's not happening with our students. So the summer camp program that we run at the rec center now, we make sure that education is a big part of that, whether it's making sure we're reading every day. We have educational STEM pieces incorporated each week, making sure that that learning loss isn't there, but making it fun and exciting and it's summer camp and not just structured school.
So tell me a little bit about what you have in store for this summer with the City of Lake Wales and your role.
I've got a wonderful manager who runs our summer camp program, so we're looking forward to that. We run fun, but learning at the same time. We also have our swim programs, which helps with life skills in general. We live in Florida, so making sure that everyone can swim is great. And then we also offer different programs throughout the year, learning about the environment, learning about conservation, sustainability, recycling, those types of things.
So when you're not planning for the summer, what does your job as Director of Parks and Recreation entail?
So year-round, we maintain over 100 acres of land. So that's mowing, blowing, weed eating, playground maintenance. We also have rental facilities. So we have the Alston Center, the Tourist Club, the Rec Center. We have a handful of pavilions. And then I also do some long-term planning. For the last handful of years, I've been working on different trails that we're planning and getting ready to construct and just long-term enhancements to all of our facilities and making Lake Wales a little bit greater.
Can you break out some of your short-term and long-term plans for Lake Wales that you're allowed to divulge?
We actually started working on in 2018, and it's finally coming to fruition, which is very exciting. And that's the Crystal Lake Park Loop Trail. So we have a trail that will connect Park Avenue up and around Crystal Lake. We've got a 3rd Street trail that's in design right now. We're working on Kiwanis Park Loop Trail and a brand new playground, which will be here in the next few months. And then we also are working on a trail that will go from the lake to up Tower Boulevard to Bok Tower. So we're creating this true trail network within our town. And what's exciting is in the next couple of years, you'll be able to bike from Bok Tower to downtown safely on a trail.
How does connecting all of the trails and all the community help everybody within the city of Lake Wales?
We're working on overall to become a city and a garden and to be a more walkable, sustainable city. And so these trail pieces help us with that. Connecting into Scenic Highway, which is one of the projects we'll be doing, is big because that actually fits into a larger regional network of trails and a state. At some point, you'll be able to bike or walk here safely on a trail and be able to visit our downtown or our lake or Bach Tower or the Arts Council. It does connect more than just a normal sidewalk trail.
How do you feel that having Parks and Rec as a fundamental part of the city of Lake Wales impacts our students and helps our students in the community?
The children in our schools, in our community, are probably the biggest user of our facilities. So we have a lot of the student athletes who are using the tennis courts and soccer fields and the basketball courts. We're able to provide something that they may not be able to do or pursue if we didn't have those amenities available.
What are some of your favorite parts of your job? What is that passion inside you that makes you get up and be excited about being a director in this capacity?
As stressful as our days can be, one of my favorite things is being out for our large community events, the 4th of July, our Easter events, the Halloween event. It makes me pause and say, this is why we do what we do.
What's been some of your biggest learning opportunities in this career? Because we all have areas where we grow.
To listen and hear people. When I first started, wanted to have an answer and wanted to, fix things or not necessarily tell people they're not right, but just listening to people and hearing them out. And then being able to pause and either try to help them or come up with a solution. I think that's been the best, most exciting.
Who are some educators or teachers or leaders that have inspired you from either middle school, high school, college? Who sticks out in your mind?
Well, one of my favorite teachers, she was actually my 3rd grade teacher, Miss Reicheter. And I think what I loved was that she allowed me to be creative. So when we had projects, she gave us different options of how to get projects done. And I loved being able to still think about the depths of the sea and the different animals that live in there. And, having a diagram was fun and impactful for me. I definitely had a handful in high school. Miss Yop was great. Her husband was the band director for many years.
You touched on your dad having a role in the city commission as you were growing up. What was it like to see it from the perspective of a kid looking at it that way?
So as a kid, I didn't understand the impact. I knew that he was going to meetings twice a month in the evenings, and he would talk about some things. I knew that he talked to the chief of police and the city manager all the time on the phone, but I didn't click or understand exactly the big impact. And now I look back and think that it's even better than it was. But I did go to meetings. And so I was able to sit in the chambers and hear things that were going on.
What would you say to encourage Lake Wales residents to get involved in their community? What's a reason why someone would want to spend evenings during the week sitting there and being a part of it, actively participating?
So it's amazing what it takes to make a city run. And we have so many opportunities, right? We have so many boards. There's the airport board. There's not just the city commission, but code enforcement, planning and zoning. It's incredible to see what it takes to actually make a city run. Understanding utilities and water and infrastructure and roadways and then parks and recreation. We have a board also that meets and that focuses more on the quality of life that citizens would want to have. So there's lots of reasons.
How would somebody get involved if they were interested?
They can get with our city clerk who has all of the board seats. We also have other opportunities to volunteer if you wanted to be part of our community events. The information is on our city website, lakewalesfl.gov. Feel free to get connected with any city employee and we'll get you in the area that you might be interested in.
Where do you see teachers being an asset to city government as far as being involved or making that connection or summer job opportunities? Where's that perfect fit?
So summer job opportunities could be camp counselors. And being part of our facility or a lifeguard or something like that. If they have ideas for programming, we're totally open to that and excited to try new things. As far as connecting, we have a really kind of a neat, fun partnership with Janie Howard Wilson. Specifically, they adopted a park to our Northwest Neighborhood Park. They have gone out a couple times and cleaned it up. And then they were also part of our cleanup day on Earth Day. And so they went to the rec center and did some things. And so it was neat for the teachers to kind of that on and expose children to that. Um, we're always open for field trips to our facility, and even maybe explaining to the kiddos or having a something where the kids have to present to a group of us and they get to sit up on the dais. Where that would be exciting, and I think that would be impactful for kids and for them to learn what government is.
What have you learned about our city government since going from working at the Y to being an adult and having a career within our community?
It's amazing the ins and outs of the internal departments, making sure we have fleet so that our police trucks and our police vehicles and our fire trucks can run streets, making sure that potholes are taken care of or sidewalks are fixed. Um, the utility side of it, going to the wastewater plant and seeing what goes into that. And then there's our finance department and our IT department. And so there's a lot that makes it happen.
I know this is more through the branch of the chamber, but growing up, youth leadership and then Lake Wales leadership as an adult, getting to see all these different aspects of the city. What part of that do you want to encourage people to get involved in or attract more people to those programs? Because it's pretty powerful to see it as a kid in youth leadership, Lake Wales, and then as an adult. And what is the Lake Wales City Chamber and the students and the adults? Like, what does that circuit look like?
I recommend to everyone that I see, I've put a handful of my staff personally through Leadership Lake Wales. And one thing I hear is people will say, well, I grew up here. I don't need to go to it. And well, I grew up here too, and I learned things. So it is a really incredible, powerful program. And I'm glad you brought up the Youth Leadership Lake Wales. And this was the first time that the students were telling us that Lake Wales is boring and they hang out at Walmart. And we were like, what? And so we couldn't take that as an answer. And so we're actually starting a youth advisory board this year based on some of those graduates. And we've got a handful of students who are interested and want to be a part of it. And so we want their help to help us figure out what kiddos can do safely. And so we think we can do something better. And for the kids to want to be involved in that, that's exciting too.
What age group is that going to be open to? And how does somebody get involved in that? That is so exciting.
Yeah, so right now we're going to start with, there was 5 kids who, they're juniors who are going into seniors. And let them be the inaugural board, if you will, but then let them get it involved, get their friends involved, and we'll see how it creates itself. But I'm excited to see that.
What else do you have coming up that you are super excited about that you want to explore a little bit more within your role?
We completed a Parks and Recreation master plan. One of the big things we have is expanding our soccer complex, adding a BMX facility. That would be an all-wheels park, so it would be for the community and sports tourism. Our trails, which are really exciting. And then professionally, I am currently a certified Parks and Recreation professional, and I'm studying to take my certified Parks and Recreation executive exam. And so I'm looking forward to seeing how that goes.
Tell me how your department's structured. We have you as the director, and then how is the business model or the hierarchy laid out?
I have a park superintendent, athletics, turf superintendent, horticulturist, events and venues manager, and then our rec center manager. As the park superintendent maintains all of our parks, all of our mowing, weed eating, edging, fertilizer, all the things that need, and then parks maintenance, playground maintenance, and then our athletic turf superintendent. He's responsible for our soccer fields, baseball fields, Northwest, and Kiwanis Park. And then we have Kevin, who's our horticulturist, and he maintains all of our beautiful plants downtown and around the community. He also is our arborist, so he does our tree maintenance as well. We have our events and venues manager, who oversees all of our rentals and then all of our community events that we have, and Kirkland Gym. And then our rec center manager oversees the rec center.
So speaking about the rec center, we both remember it when it was the Lake Wales YMCA. How did that transition go from being a YMCA to being a city-run building?
So we started out with some partnerships. I was actually, when I was working for the YMCA, started a partnership with the city for free swim lessons and free swim time for the community because the city of Lake Wales didn't have a pool. The Y was the pool. And so we worked through that. We got that going. And then we started a middle school girls volleyball program and got that up and running in 2017. The job for a recreation coordinator became available for the city of Lake Wales. And there was a new position, and I ended up applying and getting the job. And the following week, we started having conversations on the city purchasing the land and the building. So that was 2017. And we didn't actually purchase the building or the facility until 2020. We purchased the land and the building. We had some construction projects to redo the parking lot and upgrading HVAC, electrical, all those kinds of things. And then COVID happened, and that didn't do well for the Y in general. And in April of 2023, they came to the city and said, we're not going to be able to operate this facility anymore. You guys own it. We're canceling our lease come October 31st. And so we had 6 months to figure out what we were going to do with the facility. And to give a quick overview, we tried talking to YUSA. Can we become independent? We had many people who came to us and said they could run it. And in the end, we decided we should have it be a city recreation facility. We closed the building November 1st. And we did all new floors, brand new equipment, paint, new furniture, because we were coming in with the shell. And we were able to open the doors 13 days later. So that was very exciting.
What other partnerships have worked out well with the city and the community? Two off the top of my head, your partnership with Lake Wales Little League facilities and then the Lake Wales Soccer Complex. What other ones come to mind?
We also have a partnership with the Boys and Girls Club. They use our Austin Center for their programming. So they're another great partner that we have.
Can you talk a little bit about your vision for the partnership with both of those? Actually, all three of them, but for the city and Lake Wales Little League in particular.
So what our partnership looks like right now is Lake Wales Little League maintains the fields. We maintain the concession stands, the buildings, those types of things. With the soccer club, we do the maintenance of the facilities, and they take care of the concession stand unless it's something that the city obviously needs to take care of. But for day-to-day operations things, they take care of those. And then the Boys and Girls Club, they have a great facility and a safe place for the kids.
What are some questions that I could ask to help viewers, especially in the education world, understand the importance of a well-oiled machine of a city and a government?
It's incredible how much goes into running a city. And I'm still learning new things and how things operate, including funding sources and where we get our money and how we can spend our money and limitations on those things. I think the more that we can teach kids and maybe them understanding that these are jobs that are available and out there and the impacts that they can make, we're always open to new things.
So whether you're a teacher, a parent, or just EduCurious, join the community as we explore various educational topics and learn from each other. We'll see you next time.